Katie couldn't believe it. She had finally been caught. She thought she had been so careful about her secret, but she was wrong. Somehow he had found out. Truthfully, she had told everyone her name was Kaden when it was actually Katie. When she got caught, she knew it was game over. Her charade was up. Everyone would find out it was all just a big lie. Kaden, or should I say Katie, Mr. Watkins started. She was sitting at the principal's office, and the best ending she could think of was getting expelled. Katie had been so careful not to let anyone know her secret. The dull office was taunting her as she sat in front of the principal, trying to look cute and innocent. Hopefully he wouldn't be as harsh on her as she thought he would be. "Would you like to explain?" Mr. Watkins asked. "Mr. Watkins, please don't punish me. I have a good explanation," Katie stuttered. "Well then, let's hear it," Mr. Watkins said, getting annoyed. Katie shifted uncomfortably in the wooden chair. It was starting to get a bit uncomfortable, and she had a feeling she would be there a while. "I guess I should start from the beginning," Katie sighed. She was exasperated and scared of what would happen. "When I first moved here 2 months ago, I wasn't exactly excited, per se," Katie began. Continue," Mr. Watkins told her. He was starting to look bored. "I was leaving everything behind. My friends, my school, and everything I had ever known. Mom just took me out of school one day and she started driving to the new house, or dare I say shack. It is a shabby, worn-down, one-room apartment. I have to sleep on the couch. I was furious," Katie explained. "I just wanted to go back to my old life, my old school, and my old friends. Then I saw Kat and immediately knew she was one of the popular girls by her hair and how she acted. I knew she would never accept me with a name as awful as mine, so I lied and said it was Kaden. Then she told all my teachers I was really named Kaden. That's how it all started," Katie sighed, twirling her long brown hair in worry. "Thank you, Katie. You may go back to class. I will speak with you later." Mr. Watkins shooed her toward the door. He didn't give her a punishment? Katie stared at him for a couple of seconds. She was shocked. Not getting a punishment scared her more than if she was going to get one. Getting off the hook without even a warning was a miracle and a blessing, so why was she so worried? Mr. Watkins was extremely strict, and she was extremely lucky. She walked out of the office just as the last bell rang. Previously empty halls were now being filled with students of all grades, with the seniors pushing the freshmen and sophomores out of the way, trying to get to the bus. Katie, being a senior herself, joined the others in the overly crowded hallway. As she tried to push through to the door, her crush, Josh, called to her. "Hey, Kaden, come over here." She couldn't help liking him, with his deep blonde hair and hazel eyes you could get lost in. Josh was perfect. He was the top student in his class, the captain of the football team. She walked over to him, pushing through the bustling hallway. "What do you want, Josh?" Katie asked, annoyed. She was trying to get on the bus and didn't have time to talk. Josh held up his finger as if signaling to wait. Katie looked around. She was getting really annoyed as the last kid, a freshman, ran out of the door, in no doubt a hurry to get home. Josh spoke. "Kaden, I know your little secret," Josh smirked. The smile on Katie's face immediately melted, but she tried to keep her composure. He was still her crush, after all. "What? How do you know?" Katie asked, terrified, now more than annoyed. "I overheard my dad discussing it on the phone with someone," Josh smiled. How could she forget? He is Mr. Watkins' son, and now it was all over. But why was Mr. Watkins talking to someone about her? That is not the point, though. "Katie, you are one of the coolest girls in school, but if your secret gets out, then your image will be ruined." Josh was getting creepier, and it seemed a bit stupider by a minute. At that moment, Miss Cartel, the 12th grade science teacher, walked up to them. "What are you two still doing here? School got out 10 minutes ago, and you should be heading home. Kaden, you might miss the bus. You need to get going." With that, she walked out of the school. Kaden started running out of the school to catch the bus, but Josh stopped her. She looked at him. He was turning from annoying to angering. "Let's make this quick. I want you to do my homework for the rest of the year," Josh said. In a rush. Wait a minute. Her thoughts became a scrambled mess. He wasn't a top student. He was a cheater. Katie swerved around him, running to the door while ignoring him. She knew the consequences of not helping him, but she would be in even more trouble if she got caught doing his homework. As she ran out the door, she heard the faint echo of the words, "You'll be sorry." As she walked away from him, things were only just starting to make sense. When she got home, her mother was surprised to see her. "Sweetie, you're back early," Linda, Katie's mom, asked in shock. "I thought you had mathlete team auditions today." Katie smacked herself in frustration. How could she forget? Why do I have to mess everything up? She dropped her book bag on the ground, forgetting what was in it. Start looking for her computer. Her books and computer case fell out and hit the ground, including her diary. Kitty dropped to her knees and reached for her computer, not the diary. She thought it was broken, not realizing her diary fell out. It was a fatal mistake. When she realized the diary was on the ground, she lunged for it in an attempt to grab it, but her mom was faster. Sweetie, calm down. You can write the email later. They will probably let you redo it later anyway, she reasoned. Katie just nodded in agreement, her mind thinking quickly of ways to get the diary from her mom without her reading it. Mom, can you hand me that book? Katie asked, trying to keep Mom so her mom didn't know how important it was. Oh, sure, honey. What is this book anyway? She opened the first page of the diary and started reading it. As she skimmed through the book, it was probably only a minute or two, but Katie felt it was like years, and she could do nothing to stop her mom. She wrote everything in that diary. It was the only tie to her old life she had left, but she definitely didn't want Mom to see it. It could destroy their entire relationship. Mom, please hand me that book, she tried again. She gave up on trying to hide the worried expression on her face. Honey, you go as Kaden? Her face changed as the first tears started rolling down her face. I'm sorry you hate the name I gave you, she said quietly between her tears. She dropped the diary and ran to her room and locked the door. What had she done? Katie went to her room and cried on the bed. She cried so much, she forgot all about mathletes and her homework. She had a feeling her life was about to fall apart. The next morning, everybody looked at her with disgusted looks. Her shoulders slumped. She had successfully ruined her home and school life in one day. And the same secret. And as she was opening her locker, a girl with pink bob cut and cat ear headphones walked up to her. It was Katie's best friend, Kat. Kaden, is it true? She whined. I tried to tell people it wasn't true. They all told me I was delusional, so tell me I'm not delusional. Kat was poking her as if that would get her to answer faster. Kat, you're not delusional, but... Kat froze as Katie trailed off. Katie felt so bad. She tried to explain, but Kat didn't want to hear it. All she said was, best friends don't betray each other like that. A name is the first thing you tell someone. That means you lied to me when we first met. I'm sorry, but I need to go, Kat shouted before running off, getting lost in the crowd. Katie felt so bad. She tried to explain, but Kat didn't want to hear it. All she said was, best friends don't betray each other like that. A name is the first thing you tell someone. That means you lied to me when we first met. I'm sorry, but I need to go, Kat shouted before running off, getting lost in the crowd. Katie slammed her locker door in anger. Tears started streaming down her face. How could she let this happen? How could she be so dumb? She had lost her best friend. It's all Mom's fault, she screamed, but her words were lost in the crowd. People near her in the hall turned and stared, but she couldn't care less. Her life was already ruined. At that second, Katie was really mad at her mom for taking away her life, giving her her name, and then getting mad when she changed it. Her life really was awful. The next day in third period science, Katie was called to the principal's office. Mrs. Cartel dismissed her, although she didn't look too happy about it. She was already mad at Katie for forgetting to do her Cornell notes. They were also in the middle of taking a test when she was called there, so Mrs. Cartel was a bit more ticked off. But Katie wasn't too upset. She nervously got up as all the eyes in the room darted to her, then back to the test. Kat's eyes lingered a little longer than the rest, but Katie didn't notice. Her mind was already running through the scenarios. You can finish the test today after school, Katie, Mrs. Cartel called after her. Katie got really upset at that. Wasn't her life already hard enough? Now would she have to take the late bus, all thanks to Mrs. Cartel. All the eyes turned to her, but with disgust this time. Again, Kate didn't notice Kat's look of pity. As she left the classroom, she started to cry. Why did I decide to be so dumb? Why couldn't I just accept my name? Instead, I had to be an ungrateful brat. Now I have to pay the price. I upset Mom and ruined my chance of ever making friends in this dreadful school, she mumbled under her tears. She started to cry harder when she realized it was just the beginning. She put her hands in the pockets of her hoodie and pulled the hood over her head to try and hide the fact that she had been crying as she arrived at the office door. She cautiously knocked on the door. Come in, said the neutral voice of Mr. Watkins. It sounded colder and more bored than usual. Soon as she opened the door, a cold chill ran down her spine as she saw the two police officers standing by Mr.